Welcome all to Montana Chamber of Commerce's weekly call, Capital Connection, on what's going on in the legislative session. I'm Sheridan Hoyer, here, the Government Relations Specialist at the Montana Chamber of Commerce.
Charles Robinson, also Government Relations.
And we'll start with a recap of last week, a little bit what we know is going on, and then toss it to Charles for what we've got going on this week. Charles testified in opposition to Senate Bill 90. That was the bill that would take bed tax and lodging tax revenue and apply it to property tax relief. There is an amendment in the works. I mention it now because there's an amendment in the works to maintain a piece of that for the Department of Commerce for tourism promotion and things like that. And that would probably reduce our opposition and the travel industry opposition to that, remaining that only the general fund money from those taxes would go to property tax relief. Then we did oppose both the Democrat version and the governor's version of property tax relief bills last week, just because we didn't love how they would apply to commercial property and create different rates of commercial property. We totally understand that property tax is an issue, but we haven't really heard that from our members on the commercial side much, and happy to get into the details on that. But working on some amendments to perhaps House Bill 231. That's the main governor bill version with the homestead, comstead, and agstead exemptions. Then also last Wednesday was House Bill 245. That was the Medicaid expansion preservation bill that we testified in support of last Wednesday afternoon. There was another version in that same committee that we just are monitoring, but we expect that Medicaid expansion bill will have executive action taken on it this afternoon, and an update for you soon on that. We also had a couple fun ones last week that we're happy to get into, and some work on MEPA, and I'll toss it over to Charles because that's what's really happening this week.
Yeah, thanks, Sheridan. We have a handful of bills to revise the Montana Environmental Procedures Act, and those will be coming up later in the week. We have tomorrow House Bill 270 to revise the remedies in MEPA, and House Bill 285 to clarify that MEPA is a procedural law. The Environmental Procedures Act is a procedural law and doesn't on its own create new regulatory requirements. And then on Friday, we'll see House Bill 291, which limits the Department of Environmental Quality's ability to impose restrictions that exceed federal standards. So it's to kind of keep alignment with federal standards for the Montana Air Quality Act. So those are three pieces of MEPA amendments, and then we're expecting a bill in the Senate that from Senator Galt. I don't know if it'll have a hearing this week, probably early next week, but that will create a structure for doing CO2 analysis on state permits. And that is, all four of these are bills the Chamber is supporting, along with most of the business community, to primarily to respond to the requirements of the held case regarding CO2 analysis for so that the state agencies and legislature have an understanding of the effect of state actions on CO2 emissions. So working through that.
And remind me, is it the Montana Environmental Policy Act or Procedures Act?
Yeah, Sheridan, I have used those back and forth, and I'm going to look here at
I never remember
the Policy
sure
Act. Thank you. Yeah,
Great.
The Policy Act is procedural. Let's
helpful.
there we go. Yeah. So and then in other news, we're supporting a bill, HB 257, to provide additional protections against vandalism for critical infrastructure, including telecommunications infrastructure, electrical infrastructure, and other other public and private infrastructure that damage can really cause problems for everyone. And we'll also later this week be weighing in on there's a bill to require paid sick days. And while we certainly support businesses providing all kinds of paid leave that work for them, for employees, the chamber on behalf of the business community is opposed to state mandates for what types of leave can be required.
Indeed. On that front, we've got some childcare bills in the works, and I'll keep you posted on those. But next week, we are sponsoring a reception with Have a Heart for Kids Day. If you have any desire to be in on the, that's more than just childcare, but part of our childcare efforts are in there.